Guess what? Today is this boy's birthday. 1, bro. You turned 1. Woohoo! You're excited. So we're going to spray some weeds in the kikuyu today. Actually, a really good time of year in winter to spray out your broadleaf weeds and what other weeds you have in here. So let's have a look at the weeds and let's get into it. Yo mate, what up? Welcome to another lawn tip vid. Dealing with weeds can be a little bit of a tricky thing because there are so many different types of weeds. A lot of them look very similar and identifying them can be quite hard. Now, when it comes to something like a broadleaf weed, you're looking at something, compared this one earlier, something like that. That's what we call a broadleaf weed because it has a broader leaf on it than something like a bit of grass. Now, if we're looking at a grassy weed, I've got some just here. I've got lots of weeds on this property. And this time of year, you'll start to see a bit of stuff germinate because we've had a lot of moisture about, or stuff's been germinating all winter long. But this here is some onion grass. You can see little onions on the end there. So that is a grassy weed, as you can imagine. Something like Poa annua winter grass is also a grassy weed. I actually haven't been able to find much winter grass on this property, which is kind of odd. But that's the general gist of things. Like clover, a lot of people know because of that white flower you get on it, white flowered clover. If you're struggling to identify weeds though, I actually do have this app that I've been trying out. But this app is called Picture This on the App Store. And basically what you do is you grab your photo. So we've pulled this out to make it a little bit easier to identify. Take a photo of it. Just here, we'll scan it, HNITY. So it's saying that this weed is smooth cat's ear, which I'm pretty sure that is actually correct, to be honest. As you can imagine, it's going to show different pictures of what it looks like when it's got a flower and it's a bit more mature. Schnitty, oi! Do you want to take it? You can kill it. Yeah, but that's a good way to get rid of your weeds too. Come on, take it away. But yeah, that is smooth cat's ear. Yes, 100% that is smooth cat's ear, just by the look of those pictures there and the shape of the weed itself. Now for onion grass, I'm not sure if this app would work. Let's give it a try though. So we've pulled some out. Let's just see if it works with onion grass. It's possible that it will. Wild garlic, onion, yep, it got it. There you go. I didn't think it would actually work. That's actually really, really cool. That work like that. So you do have to pay a subscription fee. I found it on the App Store last year, and I've been using it here and there for plants on the property because there is so many plants here, but it actually works really well. We'll try one more weed. I find it's better to pull it out, even just a bit of it, just so you've got a neutral background, you haven't got grass behind it and it gets confused. Looks like some type of clover. It's not white, the white flower clover though. It looks like something else. Let's have a look. Sub clover, there you go. So it's type of clover, as you can see there, but it's not white, the white flower clover, it is called sub clover. Tell you what, man, this app is actually very impressive. I want to try if we can see if we can find one more weed and if it will identify. Let's find some white clover and see if it actually identifies it differently. That is some oxalis, I'm pretty sure, because it's got a heart-shaped leaf. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you can see there it's got a little heart shape on it. Burmetic. I got it wrong. It's Burmetic. I knew that. There you go. Proving me wrong today. So that's some Burmetic. Ben Sims, you're doing well. Hey, that's why we've got this app. Technology, man. When I was at TAFE, that would have been handy to use in some tests when we used to have to identify some weeds in some pots. Alright, now this one's some clover. I'm pretty sure this is some white flowered clover. I mean, this is cool. I'm actually really enjoying this app. There you go, white clover. So I just scanned it again. There we go. It actually did work. That's really, really interesting. I'm going to use that from now on. So obviously, depending on your grass type, the weeds that you're trying to kill, there's always going to be a different herbicide for every single situation. We can't get every single weed either. But that grass type that I talked about, the onion weed or the onion grass that I had in the kikuyu out there, you can actually get rid of it with a product called Destiny, which I used last year in a video, which I've got it sitting here somewhere, but I can't remember where I put it. or you can also get it with Proforce Duke, which is the same product. I think the active is halosulfuron-methyl from memory. I might be way off. No, that's what's in Tempera. Yeah, halosulfuron-methyl. So that's Tempera there, which is going to get things like nutgrass and Mullumbimby Cooch as well. So that's a product there that will get rid of it. Some Tempera. Okay, so to knock those broadleaf weeds like that plantain, did we see plantain? I can't remember. Capeweed, dandelion, clover, most of your broadleaf weeds, you're going to be looking at a product like this Turf Control here, which is going to be safe on any grass type. Now, be aware, if you do use this on kikuyu, it can yellow it slightly. It is very possible that you're going to yellow your kikuyu, but it will come back. Unfortunately, kikuyu is a bit of a sook of a grass when it comes to herbicides, and it gets knocked very easily. Even if you apply something like some Dicamba M, which you can also find on my website, it will knock it pretty hard. But yeah, it says here, it says, well, this will kill white clover, capeweed, here we go, cat's ear. Exactly what we're looking at there, cudweed, creeping oxalis. I think I said clover as well, but all those there, it's gonna knock all of those bad boys. And you just make sure you stick to the application rate with these as well. Now, if you want a better kill, I've talked about this in previous videos, but you can add something like a spray adjuvant or a sticker, which is basically going to help the herbicide stick to the leaf and get you a better kill, just a little bit of a better result, and you basically have to use hardly any of this. But it's sort of like a non-ionic wetting agent to an extent, but great to use for, here it says, herbicides and agricultural chemical, reduces spray drift, highly spreading and biodegradable. So it also reduces spray drift. I've never actually used it for that, but there you go. Now, if you want to really keep your weeds in bay, I highly recommend, especially grassy weeds like poa and summergrass, which is sort of the same as crabgrass, but pretty much the same thing, paspalum, crow's foot, all those things. Look at something like Barricade, which is what we call a pre-emergent. So those other ones were post-emergence, will knock down what's already in the ground, but this pre-emergent will, once those weeds germinate, it basically knocks them. So you don't really apply to new turf, you only apply it once your lawn is about 4 to 6 months old. I'd stay to the 6 months, unless you've got really, really deep root system. So I'm gonna be applying this in the next 2 weeks. Very, very close to doing this. Hope that covers some bases for you guys. So yeah, I highly recommend you guys get on a pre-emergent program to get on top of your weeds in the long term, as I was saying. So again, spray it sort of end of August, start of September for your Barricade, and then basically end of Feb, start of March to get rid of those winter weeds. Because I've been getting a lot of emails this over winter saying, how can I get rid of winter grass? How can I get rid of all these grassy weeds in my lawn? Again, Barricade's the best way to prevent them, because they'll generally germinate in the autumn time. Otherwise, there is products like Pelchek, this here, and some other winter grass killers you can get at Bunnings. But in saying that, like, you sort of got to get those weeds like poa when it's not super mature to really knock it down, and sometimes it can take a couple of applications to really get on top of it, and it's just so much less product putting down something like Barricade. It's just going to cover you, like, and you'll eventually get rid of those weed seeds over the years, because you're using, when it comes up, it basically kills those weed seeds. So that's the best way to do it. But yeah, there is products like Pelchek. This is an old bottle as well, so there's options out there. But if it was me personally, pre-emergent program all the way. Also, I generally apply things with a knapsack sprayer. So this is like a 15 litre, 18 litre battery sprayer, which when I do that, I do a blanket spray. So you follow the application rates on the label. Now, when it comes to spot spraying, this is a question I get often now. If you're spot spraying, you probably haven't got a lot of weeds. So it's probably worth picking them out if you can, instead of spot spraying and wasting chemical. If you can't pick them out though, and there's a lot more than that, consider blanket spraying, or selecting certain areas that you'll blanket spray and others that you won't, and then figure out the size of those areas. That's probably another way to go to it. If you really need to spot spray, there is a formula you can use, which I've used in the past, which works pretty well. So generally I'll do it with a 1 litre pump spray. You can get them from Bunnings. There's Nylex ones for about $15 to $20, I think. I did have some here, but I'm not sure where they are at the moment. I could have showed you, but yeah, you get the gist, about 5 litres. But you put about a litre of water in there when you're spot spraying. This is what I personally do. Now let's show you the formula. So let's just pretend you had a herbicide, which the application rate is 100 mil per 100 square metres. Okay, so that 100 mil of product will cover your 100 square metres. Now, obviously you have to mix some water with this. So what you would do is get I use for 100 square metres, 4 litres of water. That's what I do personally. With that 4 litres of water, that's going to go over your 100 square metres with that 100 ml of product in there. So if we're going down to 1 litre, let's divide that 100 ml of product by 4, because over 100 square metres we use 4 litres of product. For this spot spraying, we're using 1 litre of water. So 25 ml is 100 divided by 4 is 25. So 25 ml we'll use in that 1 litre of water for our spot spraying. Now if you think, that's going to cover about 25 square metres. Now if you obviously want to only cover 10 square metres, you divide your application rate by 10, if that makes sense. We'll be using 10 ml with 400 ml of water, because that's 1 litre divided by 10. So no, bro, 4 litres divided by 10. What are you doing with your maths? I'll put the maths up on the screen, but hopefully that makes sense. That's how I'd go about spot spraying, but personally, I would handpick those weeds out. Now with my lawn down here, the Kaiku, there isn't a lot of weeds in there because I did put that barricade down at in about February, March this year, which prevented all the wintergrass and all those other weeds, which again, I haven't seen much wintergrass around at all anyway on the whole property. We've had hardly any of the weeds come up apart from one section I'm going to show you guys now. But to me, it's not worth spot spraying because there isn't enough weeds there. We got rid of the onion grass last year with that Destiny herbicide that we used. So there's not really many weeds in this lawn at all, which is not a bad thing. That's why I highly recommend pre-emergent programs, because they work. And I will show you how they work by this one spot here that I have not sprayed down any pre-emergent. And you can see, mate, look at all of these weeds in here. So we've got some grassy reeds. This is some ryegrass just here. Ryegrass there. We've got some clover, which I pulled this out earlier just to have a look at it. So we've got some clover there as well, which the thing is, for this sort of area with this many weeds, I would just come in and hand dig all these out if I could. We've got some mallow here as well. Now remember, if you can't identify these weeds personally, you can use that app, which is really, really handy for all this. But yeah, ryegrass, which that barricade would have stopped that ryegrass coming up because that wasn't there during the warmer months. But all along here, because I accidentally got some spray drift with some glyphosate, I didn't spray this with the barricade in February or March, can't remember exactly when it was, because I wanted to let that all creep back in and fill in. So if you've got big bare areas like we're here, you try and avoid those areas with the barricade just to help you out. And you can see through here as well where I didn't do it because we've got spray drift here. Lots and lots of weeds. Got our clover still, got our grassy weeds, even a bit of onion grass down there that's come back up. Mate, yeah, so just so many more weeds in this area. Doesn't help that it's a little bit bare as well, so it's got more opportunity to come up there, but the rest of the lawn, I walked over it earlier and nothing. Couldn't find any weeds in there. Maybe the odd bit of onion grass, but hardly anything compared to last year. Hope that makes sense, guys. I know it's a little bit of a different video, but I do get questions about how to identify weeds all the time and how to kill them, especially in emails and the comments here on YouTube. So hopefully that video clears some things up for you. You can apply herbicides most times of year, pretty much all year round. I mean, it's just going to act a little bit slower, your herbicides, in winter, so it's not going to knock down the weeds as quickly. It's just the way it is. Now, you've got to be careful. Some herbicides, it does say on the label, don't apply when there's frost about or you've got temperatures below 10 degrees. So you've always just got to read the label and double check. But if you've got broadleaf weed at the moment coming up, you've got a couple of different things, get on top of it now if you can, and then get ready for your pre-emergent program very, very soon, which you'll see me do a video on that very shortly. But colour's still holding on this. It has lost a tiny bit because we've had lots of frosts, but almost some snow the other day, which was just ridiculous. But you can see a couple of areas here have just started to discolour, as you can see, but the old Kaiku is still holding on. But anyway, thanks guys so much for watching. Keep an eye on the channel. Going to be spraying this paddock very soon. We just had too much rain and wind over the last couple of days, so I haven't been able to get onto that. Then irrigation, construction on the golf green, everything. I'm excited. Anyway guys, appreciate yous. See yous.